What's going on, guys? We're about to clown Hunter cry alone. Because that's what he does. He cries alone, his wife leaves him, and then he uses his new girlfriend as a human shield. That's just crazy. I ain't going to front that. People be thinking I'm joking when I said that. No, I have a video breaking that down. That's exactly what he did. And then he begged for money right after that. Right after that. Buy him a new apartment. Bitch. Anyway, my bad. My bad. Let's take a look at him crying about Ben Shapiro. Now, I'm not a super Ben Shapiro fan. Honestly, I'm a Candace Owens fan. Yeah, I said what I said. But I do like seeing Hunter Avallone cry about conservatives or just in general. Let's take a look at that, man. Let's switch it real quick so you can see it. Let's take a look at him crying. I hate his intro, too. So trash.
This video by Ben Shapiro is called Kamala's Anti-Masculinity Campaign is Backfiring. So this ought to be interesting considering the fact that Kamala Harris is leading in virtually all the polls, but somehow Kamala's campaign is still backfiring. I don't know how exactly that makes sense. Either way, the biggest soy boy, the least masculine man of them all.
So apparently this video was before the election. You hear this, nigga? Oh my gosh. He should have did a video called I Was Wrong. It should have been 2 seconds. And he should shut the hell up after that. I was wrong. Leading in the polls, my eyes.
Ben Shapiro is going to get up here and explain to us how Kamala Harris is attacking masculinity. We're not signing up for dailywire.com.
Folks, Kamala Harris has a problem. Blue-collar white people in swing states, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, are running scared from her campaign.
Hit the like button, guys.
Like Joe Biden running scared from Joe after realizing she's now milked him for everything he's worth.
No, I don't want you. I don't want you. I don't want you. I don't want you.
The Kamala campaign is countering by trotting out such masculine icons as Tim Walz.
Wait, what? Did you say Joe Biden running scared from Joe?
The weirdest goofball in America, a man with hands so floppy, he looks like Gumby come to life. Or like an inflatable tube man outside a used car dealership.
Yeah, then it's got to be pretty awkward then that the inflatable tube man outside of the car dealership is still running a better, more successful campaign than JD Vance. I mean, you can make these funny little comparisons all day and they are kind of goofy. That's fine. But it doesn't take away from the fact that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are currently leading in the polls. And this isn't really an attack on anything about Tim Walz. So he's a little bit goofy. Okay. Is Trump not goofy?
You goofy, nigga. You the goofiest person. You a goofy movie, actually. What's I about to say before I was interrupted by that bitch? My bad. My bad. My bad. It was bad enough that I had his wife in my DMs. Bad enough I predicted his whole marriage ending. Nigga, let me stop going so crazy. Nah, F that. This guy's a loser. This guy is a straight loser, fam. Hit the like button, share the video.
Sometimes, what is the real reason here?
And don't forget the Manning mannerisms that make Pee Wee Herman look like the Dalai Lama. Oh, yes.
That's funny.
Yeah, when Tim Walz is doing so many embarrassing things that you need to show the SNL reenactment rather than just showing Tim Walz doing something embarrassing. Bravo, Ben. Bravo. That's a new one, even for you, pal.
Oh, yes. They're also trotting out Doug Emhoff, the new paragon of masculinity, who, come to think of it, feels a lot like the old 1950s male stereotype that leftists love to envision. He reportedly hit on his secretary, smacked around his ex-girlfriend, knocked up his nanny, and paid for her abortion. He's basically the Don Draper of schmuck-looking attorneys, now masquerading as a submissive house sitter. So men aren't into the Kamala.
Okay, so it's true that Kamala Harris's husband, Doug, has done some pretty sketchy and f***ed up things in the past. Nobody's denying this. What I am denying is nobody is claiming that Kamala Harris's husband is somehow the new icon of masculinity. Nobody is talking about this guy in the context of, oh, masculinity and this, that, and the other thing. Nobody's doing this. I don't understand. He like has to build a dichotomy in order for it to make sense for him.
And that's a problem because it turns out that blue-collar white men in swing states are...
You got to get some bass in your voice to even talk about masculinity the way you do. Like every other video he's talking about, he's had debates about this. I don't know how anyone could believe Hunter in any shape or form, but knowing what masculinity is, that's crazy. There's what? The scarecrow from Dark Knight? Are you serious, nigga? You know what? Just keep going.
A heavy constituency.
Scarecrow know what a
she's come up with an amazing media strategy. Target everyone in the world except blue collar.
You don't even know how to keep a woman. I was thinking. Nigga, Hunter mom don't even like him, nigga. That's crazy.
white male voters.
You need to shut up.
She started off this week with a podcast called All the Smoke, hosted by former NBA players Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, two true political dynamos known for their expertise in complex international relations and knowledge of federal infrastructure issues.
Former fucking professional basketball players?
You talking about Kamala? Did she go to that? It seemed like she was on a campaign to just go into every black podcast she could figure out.
That's pretty masculine. But now I guess we've moved away from the anti-masculine thing, and now we're just like, haha, they used to play basketball, so they don't know anything about policy. Before it was, nobody around Kamala is masculine. Now she's going on a podcast with a bunch of masculine guys, and you've completely...
No disrespect or shade to them, but just playing basketball don't make you masculine, my nigga. Like, what's you? That's not like a thing. You play basketball? Masculine. Nigga, no, I don't think so.
We moved to the goalpost.
I don't think that's a thing.
Idiots. For Barnes, if I mentioned every suspension and fine he received while on the court, I'd go bankrupt paying my staff overtime. So let's just focus on a few of my off-the-court favorites. In 2017, he pled guilty to fighting a woman and her boyfriend outside a New York nightclub. Then, just this year, he lost a TV analyst job after yelling at officials and confronting a student broadcaster at his...
What the absolute fuck does this have to do with Kamala Harris going on this podcast? Okay, so the guy's done some really fucked up things in the past.
Don't sound masculine to me. Nigga, how about that? What is you talking about?
Not really a very good person. Okay. What does this have to do with Kamala Harris? What does this have to do with Kamala Harris being anti-masculinity? And what does this even have to do with Kamala Harris going on this podcast? Not to mention, you're talking about masculinity, and then you pan over to the two NBA players that are very traditionally masculine men. And what do you know? They're simultaneously, or at least one of them is simultaneously accused of...
Now you care about tradition? It applies whenever he wants to use it, right? Other than that, he don't give a damn about tradition. Wow.
Acting out violently against women, which is exactly the consequence of traditional masculine stereotypes. And when you try and subscribe to this archetype of masculinity, it comes out far too often as violence. This has actually been this is a proven fact now.
Sounds like he and Doug
Are they masculine or not masculine?
I'm rolling.
And Steven Jackson, well, in addition to pleading guilty to felony charges in 2007 stemming from a strip club fight and firing his gun in the parking lot, maybe you remember a little something called Malice at the Palace.
He's absolutely out of his mind.
It's so funny to me that he literally has two examples of these guys that are traditionally masculine, and both those guys, in their pursuit of being traditionally masculine.
All right, so if that's masculine, then why don't you accept any of the thousands of boxing match offers that you've been on? Huh? You know, why are you so scared to debate me in person? I said, let's debate in person. And you was like, oh, you're going to beat me up? I was like, no. And then you just blocked me on everything. Like, yeah, I don't get no points for slam dunking Hunter Avallone into a trash can or giving him a swirly. I have not thought about doing that. But damn it, if he was in high school, he needed one. When I was in school, they'll put you in the trash can and roll you down a hill. That was just an average Tuesday. Not saying I condone that or that I would do that to Hunter. He's a little grown man. I would not do that. Right? That's
have
crazy.
Also been involved in multiple different instances of violence, domestic violence, abuse, etc. It's so ironic to me that Shapiro hasn't even made the connection.
Well, these are the kinds of amazing journalists Kamala chose to visit. Even they were wildly unimpressed.
Did you do a whole video then talking about how shitty how shitty Aiden Ross is? Because Trump went on Aiden Ross's podcast. What? Did you talk about how stupid Aiden Ross is and how dumb he is, how many controversies he's been involved in? No.
Aiden Ross get astray. What? What was he talking about?
Of course not. But now when Kamala Harris goes on this one podcast, because the guys who host the podcast have done bad things in the past, that means Kamala Harris is bad somehow.
With her incredible intellect.
That's crazy.
Right.
Let's just get this straight. Kamala Harris is so awe-inspiringly stupid that a man who literally went into the stands at an NBA game and punched a fan in the face was like, bro, I can't do this. But that was only the beginning of Kamala's magical mystery media tour. Next, she appeared on a podcast.
I don't even know what he's talking about. You showed me a clip of him saying that's crazy. He's making so many gigantic leaps. It's insane.
A podcast titled Call Her Daddy, which coincidentally is what Tim Walz says to himself before every public appearance with Kamala. The show is hosted by Gen Z influencer Alex Cooper, the leader of a fan base she has named the Daddy Gang. She's a good-looking lady who got famous for coining something called, this is actually for real, the Gluck Gluck 9000. The Gluck Gluck 9000 is apparently an oral technique she suggested to her fan base, which sounds like it would have gotten Kamala a position even more powerful than San Francisco District Attorney.
Kamala Harris, I wanted to have you here.
First and foremost, that's not funny, acting as if a woman, because she's a woman, is in a successful position of power. She must have gotten there because she slept her way to the top, is innately sexist. I think it's pretty clear as to why that is sexist as well. Assuming that women just don't have the...
It's not sexist when the podcast is freaky as hell, nigga. I've seen a lot of freaky deaky things being discussed on that damn podcast, nigga. You ain't so sexist. Shut up, nigga.
Qualifications. They only can use their sex appeal to get ahead. This is fucking ridiculous. Kamala Harris was actually involved in government for a very long time. She worked her way to the top. She never slept with anybody to get any kind of position. The one famous person she slept with was some guy who'd been separated from his wife for 10 plus years. Meanwhile, these dudes all want to vote for the fucking rapist Donald J. Trump. Regardless, Shapiro, your humor isn't funny. Let's go ahead and see what Kamala Harris is like on this podcast.
You think yours is? Didn't this nigga cry because I told him he wasn't funny? Nigga, even if I don't find Ben Shapiro to be funny, nigga, he has every right to crack jokes.
Kamala Harris, I wanted to have you here today to talk about your positions, not only in politics, but also in the bedroom.
You know what the strongest weapon a woman has in this world?
Wait, is this just a fake thing now? Why is he showing us a parody?
In any case, Cooper has since undergone a full brand overhaul. She signed deals with...
It's so funny to me that he's like, Kamala Harris is...
I like how he cut it before they was about to mention the Glock 9000. Loved how he cut it before that. So she did say that, huh?
Cringy on all these shows. And then he's showing us parodies of the show.
Hit the like button, guys.
Show me the real show, you idiot. If it's so bad and embarrassing, why do you need to show me a parody of it? Surely the real thing would be bad enough.
Hundreds of millions of dollars. She welcomes A-list guests like Gwyneth Paltrow and John Mayer on her show to spill the goods on their private sex lives.
Yeah, I'm not a Gwyneth Paltrow
with this type of risque reputation and an episode out just
Again, we're just on... Because this podcast host previously has hosted some risque things, that means Kamala's bad for going on a podcast, even though that specific podcast that she was on had absolutely nothing to do with sex or anything inappropriate. You're just like, hey, you went on a show and this host isn't really that cool. How dare you?
What did Alex Cooper ask Kamala Harris that could be actually considered newsworthy or tantalizing? Well, nothing. I mean, she asked why Kamala is so awesome and also so special and also abortion.
Former President Trump recently told women, you will be protected and I will be your protector.
Didn't he just say? He just said that Ben wasn't going to show a clip, right? That looked like a clip.
What do you make of that?
I thought that she was going to ask her about, her sex life with Doug or something. But, who knows whether that exists. Anyway, there goes the media's sole opportunity to ask about Kamala's humble origin stories in San Francisco politics.
Help me make sense of all this.
This guy. Who the hell? Oh, I forgot about that nigga. That's how much I don't care about Kamala. Then
Kamala goes on a show that's usually inappropriate and sexual. When Kamala's there, she's asked a real question. Ben Shapiro's mad that Kamala Harris is going on a show that's usually very sexual and risque. But now he's mad that they didn't ask Kamala Harris a sexual question. If you're mad that the show is overly sexual and gross and whatever, then why are you complaining that the questions when it came to Kamala weren't sexual?
But old Howard has lost his sting and possibly the use of his prostate. His edginess has gone missing, just like Ellen Page. In the same studio where Stern once instructed stars to sit on sex machines, Don Blackface called people smelly N-words and joked that the Columbine shooters should have tried to have sex with their hot classmates before the attack. Stern asked Kamala about her favorite foods and whether Donald Trump was most like Hitler or like double Hitler.
Ben Shapiro's angry that this guy has been famously edgy / shock jock radio host, now talking to Kamala Harris. None of these are actual.
No, he's just pointing out the fact that it's all manufactured, bro. That's what it is. In fact, I've even heard that instead of going to certain podcasts, she paid millions of dollars or however much amount to just recreate the set for it. So you don't have to actually engage with real people in real environments.
Arguments. Literally none of them.
That's word
on the street. They're all just, hey, Kamala Harris went on a show and the host has said edgy or yikesy things in the past. Okay?
She next went on The View. The roundtable filled with screeching late 90s modems did what they do best. Talk over each other, say awful things, kiss Democratic. But this time, to their credit, we did actually get one little soundbite of importance.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Oh my gosh. Kamala, that's probably what lost to the election right there, nigga. What? Yeah, you need to do something different than this nigga.
Is so amazingly bad at this. She somehow threw up all over herself when she was asked an easy question by intellectual heavyweight Sonny Hostin. So again, she did.
I don't even know what to say right now. Like, this is just so many leaps and just like, oh, Kamala Harris said that Joe Biden did a good job because she's currently the vice president. Duh. Let me get really mad about this. Your word vomit is just getting so boring. If you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a member today.
No, nigga. Your trash self. No. What the hell was that? That was nuts. That was nuts. Right? Like, he had Biden's all in his face. All right, my bad. Anyway, hit the like button, share the video. If you would like to subscribe to memberships. I forgot I even had memberships. Check out my Patreon if you want to. There's going to be exclusive content on there for sure. Yeah, what the hell is that? Whoa.